Right guys, hope you're all doing well, hope you're all keeping safe. I was going to make this video yesterday, but I decided to chill, let all the tweets and forum posts calm down, and take a good look at year 3 for The Division 2. To be honest guys, any news is scarce, and by scarce I mean like the surface of Mars scarce right now, but as I did with my video on Wednesday, I did want to present some things that may fuel speculation and tell you what I think is going to happen. You can subscribe below to stay up to date with all the videos, drop a like as well if you don't mind, and if you enjoy this of course, and let's begin. After Wednesday's news, Massive got bombarded by this community, from myself included, questioning what is coming next, if anything, and asking for some sort of official response. In fact, it wasn't just this community, but journalists in general, like Paul Tassi, who writes for Forbes, who were asking the same questions of Massive. Is there going to be a Division 3? Question mark. What's going to happen with this franchise after Season 4 ends? Question mark. Are we getting a year 3? Question mark. These are the questions we all want answering as soon as possible. And not unexpectedly, there's been no response at the time of me making this video. Now let's not forget, whilst Massive are the lead developers for the Division franchise, Ubisoft are the publisher, and I'm pretty sure they won't be able to say anything until Ubisoft give them the go-ahead. Now I'd like to sit here and tell you that we will definitely hear some on the next state of the game, likely coming next Wednesday the 20th, but I doubt it. Certainly not in any detail. We might get Yannick come on and say it's good or bad news, but that's about it. Any real concrete information about year 3 or the Division 3 is not something that I think will happen soon, to be honest guys, so I wouldn't get your hopes up. I know I won't be, and I'm with everyone who would like to see some kind of acknowledgement to the community concerns, whether that's via State of the Game, an article on the Division website, a tweet, or even just a forum post. There's so much uncertainty now, and I really think the devs need to kind of set the record straight and manage our expectations. Hell, I need to decide what I'm going to do with this channel if it is indeed bad news. Alright, so I don't want to spend the majority of this video focusing on the negative, and actually I wanted to look at year 3. I did want to add some kind of fuel to the fire of speculation that year 3 is something that we are going to actually get, whether that be another DLC, another 4 seasons, or something completely else. Different, not else. That doesn't make any sense. Now, in my video on Wednesday, I said that it's unlikely we are going to get a Division 3 or possible year 3 due to a couple of factors. But the main one, the one I think most people will point to as the reason, is the fact that Massive are taking on the new Star Wars game means they are developing this game, which is going to be huge, as you can imagine, Avatar, which is confirmed, and The Division. And the thing is, that's 3 huge projects, right? 2 of those, Avatar and Star Wars, are based on 2 of the highest selling movie franchises in history. I think Avatar sold, in terms of movie sales, I think it's number 2. And of course Star Wars is, as you guys know, very, very popular. Star Wars as well, in particular, is Disney money, with reports stating that this is a multi-game collaboration if all goes well. So Ubisoft will not accept anything but the best for this product. So Massive will be on this game pretty much full on in order to get the best product possible and then ensure that those future collaborations. So with this in mind, is there any room at the table for another Division game if you think about it? I mean, it doesn't look that way. Avatar's been delayed until 2022, I believe, it may even be 2023, but you best believe the devs will use that time to make the product the best it can be before launch, because there will be some hype around that game for sure, and it could be a winner. With all of that said, we've had a response from David Polfelt to this very question. He's actually managing director, I believe, at Massive. It's not specific to the Division, his response, but it could be revealing. On the official Ubisoft website, both David and Julian, as I said, they're both directors at Massive. I think Julian's actually moved on to Star Wars. They were asked questions by, I think, a Ubisoft representative. It doesn't actually say who the interviewer was. And this question was asked of David. With such a large-scale project in preparation, how is the studio going to handle the other games Massive is working on? To which David responded saying, We have been preparing the studio for a long time to handle all our projects with equal attention and love. Since all of our teams work on the Snowdrop engine, all projects benefit from each other's progress and successes. And obviously, with such an amazing collection of AAA projects under our one roof, we are continuously recruiting, and we're currently looking for experienced developers from all over the world to join us on our future adventures. Importantly, David says handle all our projects with equal attention and love. It's worth pointing out that this doesn't mean David is talking about the Division franchise, but seeing as massive are the lead developers, the Division being a project they've been working on since before 2013, I believe, it's hard to believe he's not including the Division into this statement. Now, I'm not naive to the fact that regardless of what is said here in this interview, I fail to believe that Star Wars, Avatar and The Division will get equal attention. That just doesn't seem right, but I sure hope I'm wrong here. If we take this at face value and rightly or wrongly assume David has included The Division into his comments here, I think this all but confirms we are going to be getting a year free. If this is true as well, I don't foresee a year free like The Division had either, where the game was basically dropped and instead of there being any kind of new content, the servers were just left up and global events just rerun. I think we also had shields as well, but I think that was to kind of bridge it into the Division 3, into the Division 2, sorry. Again, if David has included The Division here in his comments, I do now anticipate a year free with either a new DLC or possibly new seasons. I want you guys just to let me know what you think in the comments down below. I know I'm stretching here. I know I am. I did say that I'm just fueling the fire speculation, so I did warn you. But do you believe what David is saying here or not? Let me know. To be clear, guys, I don't think we are going to get a Division 3 anytime soon. I do think we will get one for a multitude of reasons, but not for a couple of years at least. Because whilst the Division 2 didn't meet sales expectations for Ubisoft, and I believe it only sold possibly half of what the Division 1 did, I can't quite remember the exact figures, it's still a profitable asset. I believe it's still worth in excess of £2 billion. There's even with that in mind, there's even the idea that it could be sold off to someone else who could then go on to develop the Division 3 or continuing to develop the Division 2. It's still profitable. It's still made a lot of money. I believe it's still sold over 10 million copies. You have to factor in that a lot of those might be at a reduced price, and so it is possible that's just there for the stakeholders rather than really showing anything else, but it is still profitable. I believe Warlords, if you look back on the Ubisoft records, Warlords actually did really, really well in terms of profits. So that's just a couple of the reasons why the Division 3 will likely happen at some point. Now, I do think we are going to get some for year 3, I just don't know what yet. And aside from David's comments, the other thing that points towards something else coming is the data mined audio from Season 4. Spoiler warning for anyone not interested to know what's going to happen with Season 4 at the end. So that's your warning. The data mined audio, I believe, confirms that at some point after Ellis is killed by Fei Lao and pinned it on us, we are called back to the base of operations to regroup. There is also no audio from Isaac saying deceased, suggesting that Fei Lao actually gets away, which would marry up to the audio of having to go back and regroup. Both of these audio files alone are pretty revealing, and this actually indicates this is not the end. Now, it's quite possible the devs purposely left Season 4 on a cliffhanger to leave the game open for future content, whether that be for a year 3 if they plan to do one, or for a Division 3 in the future. I don't know. I do have to admit these audio files or these audio lines don't quite match up with the Season 4 title, End of Watch. This is something usually reserved as a term for when a police officer has passed away. If any of you guys have watched Game of Thrones, and I presume that a lot of people have watched Game of Thrones, then you know they say, and now their watch has ended when members of the Night's Watch are killed, unless this title actually refers to us as Division agents, and instead it could be used as the end of a police officer's shift. End of Watch also refers to that as well, so it could mean that the story seems to suggest we might be marked rogue ourselves after Season 4, and End of Watch could be implying this instead, and that's actually what I believe. I believe that at the end of Season 4, Fei Lao is going to get away. We are going to go back to the base of operations to regroup, and we are going to be the ones marked rogue. And I believe if we are getting a year 3, we're going to have to try and find a way to basically clear our name and find Fei Lao. Or if we're getting a Division 3, then I believe that would be the story as well. But that's what I believe the story is going to be going into the future of the Division, based on what we know about Season 4 from the Datamine files. So to summarise, David says the devs have reorganised in anticipation of Star Wars, and the studio is prepped to handle all of their projects with equal love, which may or may not include the Division, we don't know. And Season 4 ending, we believe, will leave the door open. I say we, I believe we'll leave the door open for future content, whether that be a year 3 or the Division 3. And like I said at the start, guys, this is all speculation. You know, it's very easy to look at what someone says and apply it to something. That's with no kind of correlation at all. That's pretty easy to do, and that's kind of what I'm doing here. I hope I've been able to explain why I've been able to kind of marry stuff up and why I now believe we are getting Summit. At the moment, like I said, I believe we're going to get Summit for year 3. I just cannot foresee the devs just dropping this game at this point, especially if we're not going to get a Division 3, which I don't think we're going to get. I just cannot see Massive being able to work on a whole new Division game, you know, Avatar, and a whole new Star Wars game, unless, guys, I'm just throwing a spanner in the work. If you remember the Division 1, when that went live in 2016, the devs immediately worked on the Division 2, which is why it was ready for release 3 years later. It's possible the devs have done the same here with the Division 2, and they actually started working on the Division 3 as soon as the Division 2 actually went live. That's a possibility, but again, that's all speculation. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching today's video, guys. Hope you all have a fantastic weekend, and until next week, Epic out.